What is going on, everybody? My name is Ciara Lawler. Welcome back to another week of the Hero or Zero section of the Heroes for Hire podcast. I'm joined as always by my best pal, Mr. Shaun Meighan. Shaun, how's it going?
I'm good. This is a record for starting the Google Meet and then starting the recording.
You jumped in, you said you had to be gone, and so I said, let's go.
And like a good friend, you were like, let's get straight into it.
But we very quickly said, I hope he had a good day.
Oh, we made sure to do the pleasantries before.
I first seen him 9 seconds before I clicked record, but we're ready to go.
Ready to go, it's all we need. You know, when you've been doing this as long as we have, folks, you just know how the other person is feeling.
We won't get off the call and think, is he mad at me? I don't think that'll happen, just because there's a kind of there's an understanding.
No, because by defolt we have no emotions toward each other at this point.
And I already hated him before he jumped on the call.
And I've come to terms with that.
So this is Hero Zero. This is the show where we choose one comic book character every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points, and we generally just give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. Now, I normally talk DC characters, and Shaun, you normally talk Marvel characters.
I do.
And last week you did a very, very good report on X-Men Forge, or a man part of the X-Men universe.
Yeah, and didn't touch on dire wraiths at all. I was real proud of myself.
No, and look, you kind of inspired me, because I decided this week I'm going to bring back a classic of Forge we felt was overpowered.
Yeah.
And then I love when we get to talk about a character that's overpowered. So I've chosen a character this week, and we'll get to it now in a second, that has 3 pages worth of powers and abilities. And you know I love that.
That's always good. For reference, the usual is about half a page, folks.
Well, normally it's like flight.
Yeah. You get 1 power.
Or like good at kung fu or something. Yeah. But like, so this is 3 full A4 pages.
Every time this comes up, you know that New Girl clip of like, oh, you get 1 wife. Like, you get 1 power.
One wife.
What a bunch of wives.
So, before we get into that though, Shaun, I do want to remind everyone for the last time, this is the final warning.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the summer hangout for the patrons. That is the summer bash, we're calling it. It's just basically a Google Meet hangout with all of our patrons and listeners who want to kind of come along if you want a special invite, and we all jump on a Google Meet and we all just talk a bit of shit, have a bit of crack for 2 hours.
It's a lot of fun. I'll be wearing the most goth Hawaiian shirt that I can find to celebrate the summer bash. A
dichotomy of those two sayings. Fair play to you.
Look,
a goth
I'm a confusing
Hawaiian
man,
shirt.
Connor.
Skulls, but in Hawaiian style.
Yeah, you better believe it.
You better believe it. So if you want to come along to the listener hangout, what I will say is just send us a message between now and tomorrow at 1:30. Well, to be honest with you, before 1, because at like 1 o'clock I'm clocking off. I'm not looking at any of the fucking socials anymore.
What do you mean you're clocking off? You're about to start the summer bash.
I have to go into my zone. Close my eyes.
I have to get into character.
I have to get into my character of nice man.
Yeah, you have to drop the Texan accent that you've been hiding so well.
I have to stop kicking my orphans for a few hours and be like, okay, now pretend like you're likeable. Some would say, haven't started yet. Figure it out. But that's tomorrow at 1:30 Irish time. As I said, all the invites are out. So if you have been a patron and you're on the Patreon right now, you have an invite. It's been sent to your email that you signed up to the Patreon with.
Yeah, I accepted
and you can jump on in. You accepted. Well, technically you have to, because like you're coming.
What?
You're there. I like the idea of like you getting to like 1:15 and doing like the I can't come out tonight, lads.
Yeah, so no, I'm not feeling it. I'm real sorry. It's been a tough day at work.
Just let me do it by myself.
No, I send a different invite and we have our own chat.
Oh, better chat, the Shaun chat. So yeah, if you want to get an invite to that, head on over there, send us a message on any of the socials, as I said. And if you already have an invite, we're looking forward to seeing you. It's going to be a bit of crack. If you give this episode 5 stars, a like, a follow, a share, whatever way you could just give us a bit of support, that'd really help us out. If it's your first episode, don't do anything. Just chill out. Forget everything we just said for the previous 4.5 minutes. It's all bullshit. Just chill out. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. You're doing great. I love you.
You've got grey hair today, right? Yeah. I'll tell you that now.
You know what? Your sense of style, unmatched.
You've got beauty on the inside and on the outside, if you ask me. Yeah. But it's...
And if this is your second episode, go fuck yourself.
No, we hate you.
We're all about first impressions.
Second impressions are always shit. So this character I'm going to be doing this week, Shaun, is a character that we have covered before. Bringing us back to this report here. We have done them before the pandemic, which means it technically didn't happen.
It's a different timeline. It's fine.
Different timeline. Didn't happen. It's no longer so it's no longer on Spotify or iTunes or any of them, so we get to do it again. Pretty big character in the DC universe, Shaun. We're going to be talking about Martian Manhunter this week.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, I know, from Mars.
Basically, he's from Mars. He's the Martian Manhunter.
Pretends to be Clark Kent's mum for a bit.
What?
He pretends to be Clark Kent's mother for a bit.
I think you're thinking of maybe Zack Snyder's movie.
Sorry, it's my only exposure to DC. I'm sorry.
That's true, actually. Fuck. He's in the Justice League TV show, the animated show. He's really good at that.
Is he in Young Justice?
Have you seen any of that? See, you haven't seen either of them, so this is a bait that you're setting up, but I'm going to say yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, I might know him then. Yeah.
No, you haven't seen Young Justice. Everyone go watch Young Justice and the Justice League show
good,
from 2003. They're both really good. Shaun refuses to watch them because he hates fun. So, created by Joseph Samuelson and Joe Certa. His first appearance was in Detective Comics 225 in 1955. He's been around a very, very long time. And the thing is, the origin has been changed a lot after the New 52. They kind of worked around it. I do very much like the original one. So he was like initially in the 50s. The idea was he's going to have a detective strip with like an alien superpower twist, was the idea.
Pretty cool. Yeah. And in the 50s, that's like... Yeah, that's peak, Mars, aliens, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like he's going to be a sleuth with like the top hat, but then you find out at the end of the first episode or the first issue that, he's also an alien.
That's pretty inspired for the 50s, I would say.
Yeah.
But it was just a strip. It wasn't like a full issue or anything like that.
No, he had a few issues. It was in Detective Comics, so he just kind of appeared in that at that time. So then John Johns took on more. Also, his name is John Johns. It's just...
Can I try and spell that from memory?
JONNJOHNZZ, I think.
I thought there'd be an apostrophe in there somewhere, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Oh, there definitely is somewhere. Do it from memory. But yeah, during the Silver Age, he took on a bit more traditional traits of a superhero, and superheroes kind of regained popularity. And then during the 60s, he was a member of the Justice League of America, and his solo series ranged from fighting gangsters and costumed crooks to like sci-fi adventures as well.
I never realised he had a solo series. Like, I always just thought he was a supporting JLA member.
No, he had his solo series as well. Now, the thing was, he wasn't like a massive member. He was just like a weird alien that didn't really know what to do with. Yeah. And it wasn't until the 80s that they very much went a lot harder at like, he's part of the Justice League and he's always part of the main Justice League. He's like a core member of the team. Yeah,
because now if you think of the Justice League, I do think of Martian Manhunter. Specifically because of that one Grant Morrison run of Justice League.
In the JLA. Yeah. So that comes up in the 90s, but like by the 80s and Crisis on Infinite Earths and like by 1986 they decided basically they were going to go all in. That he kind of appeared every so often. In the 70s he was actually pretty absent. He didn't really appear at all in any publications in DC.
That's wild to have that kind of a gap. Because in the 70s they were doing whatever. I
think that he just left, and I think the story they wrote was he went back to rejoin his people on Mars. Was the story.
He died on the way back to his home planet.
He did a poochie.
Yeah.
What he did, right?
Cool.
And he left, and he just never came back until the 80s with the shake-up of the Justice League roster, and he rejoined the team in the War of the World 1984 story arc, and he basically would become a staple of the team for the next several decades. So the thing is, right, because he's such a major player, the origin originally was quite simple. He was just an alien from Earth, or an alien from Mars. comes to Earth and he becomes a detective to solve crimes, and he's also an alien on the side. And then
he's an alien all the time, but he's a detective on the side.
Well, technically that is true. But yeah. No, on the side.
Like, I'm a podcast host, but I'm a human on the side.
It's a light hobby. Look,
I dabble.
And he dabbles in alien stuff. And so I'm going to get into his origin, but I think it's actually a pretty good origin as alien origins go to get him to here. You have to also remember it's the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s at this point, so they're kind of reworking it as they go along. So centuries ago on the planet, Malacandra. Yeah, there you go. The Green Martians, known as Mern and Shasheen, gave birth to twin sons. So,
fellas, this is fantastic, because this is what it sounds like when I do a Marvel report.
No, see, now I'm going to stick with the alien bit for like maybe 5 minutes, and then we can go back to Earth.
Okay, cool.
So his parents give birth to him and his brother, right? Twin brothers. The thing is, though, that he is basically known as, they give him the name John Johns, the name means light to the light, like the best of the best.
What they call his brother.
His brother, however, was born a mutant, bereft of Martian's innate ability to communicate telepathically, didn't have any powers, just a little bitch boy.
Just a waste of a human.
Just a wakeling.
Waste of a Martian, excuse me. A wakeling.
A wakeling. He's wake, as you would say in Ireland, right?
Imagine saying that when a child is born. He looks wake.
I will. I'll say, why can you not lift up something? You're wake.
Get a pull your weight, will you?
Lying there all day. He was named Malefak, whose name means darkness in the heart.
Okay. They basically had one son named Angel and one son named fucking Devil Prick.
No, they have one son named Gandhi, the other one called Hitler. They're like, nothing bad will happen here. It's all good.
So, and I assume they never come into conflict, him and his brother.
Never. No, they never fall out, and his brother doesn't really feel left out because he has no powers, and his other brother's like basically the greatest Martian that's ever lived.
Oh, but that's fine, but he's so great he'll support his brother, sure.
That's the thing, they're siblings, so they're going to support each other no matter what. As an adult, John became a manhunter, otherwise known as a police officer on Mars, and he married a Martian woman. The two established a little home for themselves. They had a little child. All was going well.
Cool.
However, evil brother suddenly stops supporting John and then basically decides that he despises everything about Martian culture because they treat him as a freak because he doesn't have any powers.
Now, and from what I know of Martian Man, now I've never seen him with a wife and son, so presumably they get, shuttled away to safety, those two.
Yeah, it's a wife and daughter, firstly. But secondly, you don't see them with either of them. Because his brother decides on a full-scale genocide against his own people. And he engineers a contagious virus that what it does is that every time they use their telepathy, it transfers to the next person. And
that's how they all talk.
And that's how they all talk. And how it works is that every time they then try to use their powers afterwards, their brains and their bodies go into this such like a psychosomatic stress that's so intense that their bodies and minds just basically give up. And like they just die. Short circuits their brains the next time they try to do anything telepathically.
He doesn't sound like that useless of a lad to be able to develop this.
Well, look, I mean, he's the little shithead, but like, you know what I mean? He's smart.
He's smart, but he can't fucking communicate telepathically, can he?
He's a little shit. There's no way he's doing a genocide, is what they said about when he was a baby.
He wouldn't be able for a genocide.
So he's too weak.
He's too weak.
So he develops this plague and kills off a lot of the planet. I'm going to say 99.9% of the planet.
Right.
And it works its way through everyone. John watches his family all die from it. Everyone he knows and loves dies. His brother has killed everyone with this like kind of telepathic STD that he's given everybody.
And how do other people escape from it? Or they just happen to not interact with anyone?
They don't. Everyone's dead except John.
Why John? Why John is the only
The reason
one?
why John survives is because on planet Earth, a would-be scientist named Saul Erdel develops a transmitter machine based upon ancient alien technology that he finds, right? So he's in a lab, he's working on it. Seeking to make contact with extraterrestrial life, he aims the device, and this is my favourite wording, in the vicinity of Mars.
In the general Mars area.
He points it up, right?
Yeah.
And he fucking just shoots
the sky.
Yeah, he aims it at the sky, like, you know what I mean? Mars is up there somewhere. And he activates it. The transmitter beam streaks across both space and time and strikes the Martian Manhunter at a point in time several centuries, or a little before he was about to die, basically. And he gets transported back down to Earth at that moment.
Right. So because of the distance that Mars is away from the Earth, time on Earth had passed faster than it had on Mars.
I think it's slower, but it's, yeah, whichever way. Basically, everyone on Mars is dead, and he's gotten out of there because this random doctor at one stage in the timeline shot this laser.
Okay. Just to make the rest of the report easier, could you explain quantum relativity to me, please?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I have it written here. So anyway, I knew you'd ask. So
He pulls out a whiteboard.
I have a slideshow ready to go. So the beam brings John to his laboratory, and Erdel is obviously absolutely shocked because now there's an alien in his lab. But John is absolutely like messed up. His brain is like destroyed just due to trauma. He's watching everybody die. He is not all there.
Yeah, it's a bad time.
It's a bad old time for him. Not at this moment, he says, but like maybe next week I can hang out. But like at the moment, I'm going through some stuff.
I'm not able right now. If that's
not
okay.
able at the moment. And so he's going through a lot of anguish. And during this, Erdel basically nurses him back to health. And through this he kind of becomes aware of what happened because John is like projecting into his brain telepathically as to like what happened, and Erdel's like, that's real bad, oh shit. And he creates, the two of them kind of become friends as John's sanity is restored slowly and he prepares to function in this strange new world that he's kind of landed in just randomly. And Erdel puts the idea into his head that he just becomes a great champion here on Earth, and thus the heroic guys of the Martian Manhunter kind of comes out with that he's like, you could just be a hero here.
Forget about your troubles back home.
They didn't even like you there. I talked to them.
You were a Mars cop.
Yeah, you were a pig up there, lad.
The scientist is a real libertarian dude.
He's really anti-police. And Martian Manhunter's like, whoa, this is real strong.
Oh, this is heavy. Man, okay.
This is real heavy for a man who just lost his whole planet.
Yeah.
Chill out. When John shapeshifted, however, into human-like form, because John can shapeshift, Erdel is shocked and suffers a heart attack, and that kills him.
The man met an alien.
Yeah.
And is like, oh no, shape-shifting powers are too much for me.
Yeah, well, look, maybe he was on the edge upon meeting the alien. That was what kind of pushed him over.
Clayface exists at this point, though, right?
No, not at this point. At this point, this scientist has not read a newspaper. He doesn't know anything. He's been up in that lab pointing that fucking thing at the sky for ages. And This is the one time he's gotten lucky.
But he might have seen Superman in the sky.
No, he hasn't, because through time it's kind of worked out this was actually prior to, oh look, we'll get to that. So as he was dying, Erdel asked John for forgiveness for making him a prisoner of Earth. So with his dying words, he's like, I'm sorry for bringing you here.
That's a big ask to just forgive him, though.
You're now trapped here.
And I'm the one who could objectively get you back home, and I'm
but now I'm dead. You've killed me
because my heart was wake.
It was wake. John first revealed himself as an official superhero when he joined a team called the Justice Experience as a hero called the Bronze Rate. Now, Shaun, how powerful Martian Manhunter is that he joins this team and he only shows them two of his powers because he's just like, I don't need to reveal the whole hand just yet, so he just transformed into the Bronze Rate, and then he's like, oh, I've got super strength,
and that's it. That's all he gives him.
And I think he can fly a little bit, but like,
that's just convenient.
Yeah, but he doesn't tell them he's telepathic or can shapeshift or, like, I'm going to read out all of the rest of the powers, but think of a god. He can do anything.
Everything you've named so far is too much already.
Well, I've named 4 of, like, 50.
Yeah. So he's fully, like, he's just fitting into the status quo of what heroes are, which is you're good at one thing, maybe.
Yeah. Shortly before his tenure as the Bronze Red, however, Jean sensed the arrival of a small alien spacecraft heading towards Kansas. He investigated the vessel, although it resisted his attempts to scan it too deeply. When the Kents arrived, he became invisible. He actually has the power to become invisible to avoid detection, and he left knowing the Kryptonian child would be safe with them, but was concerned about the power he would one day possess. He returned 8 years later as a character known as Josh Johnstone and worked as a hired hand on the Kent farm just to keep an eye.
No, he didn't.
Just to keep an eye on the kids, you know what I mean?
Okay, I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I think that's fun.
You would. And so he could tell that Clarke had thought of himself as a human being, and so he was like, alright, the kid is cool. And so he leaves him off and he kind of comes back and checks on him every so often just to see how he's getting on, and like he knows he's an alien, he knows he's a Kryptonian, but he's like, I'll just look after him.
Yeah, just keep an eye out for the kid.
During this time he also becomes a full-on police detective. This is where the noir kind of aspect comes into his series. He becomes John Jones, and it just fits into human society. He becomes a police detective in the city of Middleton, and for a long time he works as a policeman. Middleton. He worked as a policeman while secretly using his alien powers to solve cases and help people.
Okay, so he's helping people day job and helping people as a hero.
Yes, and he gets lots of friends there, but eventually he comes to the conclusion that he can't do like everything, because he's now, I would say, like I've cut out at least 3 more identities that he's constantly being as
just
well.
Rotating through.
Wherever he goes around the world, he just transfers to somebody else.
Okay. And he doesn't need to, like, does he not need to eat or something like that? Like, he can just constantly he's self-sufficient at this stage, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so what's his plan after? He does love Oreo Chocos in the comic books. He's addicted to them, but I don't think he needs them. He just quite enjoys them. It's just pure lust. It's pure animal lust. No, never say animal lust again in my presence, please. Whenever your friend gets into a relationship, just ask, is it love or is it pure animal lust? Let's solve this right now. And that's how you kill a relationship real quick. That's how you figure it out. That's how you spend more time with the boys, folks. He then eventually even had to fake his own death as the police detective John Jones, because he was like, I can't really keep doing this, and so he had to like go into like a situation where John Jones dies and then he just vanishes. And that's the end of that person, basically. Yeah, exactly. And is it that he lives too long or that he's too busy? Like he's no, it's mostly just he's too busy, because he's also himself as a hero. Yeah. Solving things. Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate. He's got a lot on his plate, you know what I mean? For years after his tenure with the Justice Experience, John continued wandering Earth, taking on many different forms and identities. He believed that if he again revealed himself as a superhero, he would draw more trouble to himself. However, one thing changed at this point, was that a superpowered protector of Metropolis, Superman, revealed himself to the world, and soon costume vigilantes were saving lives everywhere. And so then there was an alien invasion, and John's like, but this is the best time to come out, to be like, I'm one of the good ones. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna be a positive representative for aliens. Yeah, and so he kept his overall appearance a little more humanoid. So he kind of morphs himself slightly to appear a little more humanoid than he actually would be, so the humans could like take him in. But he gets like 80% towards what he actually looks like. It's like, if a human was to imagine an alien, it's probably close to that. He had battled alongside the other heroes, and they left triumphant, and from that point on, they all basically formed the Justice League of America. This team would become a mainstay of the DC universe, consistently protecting the Earth from otherworldly threats. And this is the first time he's actually had friends. He has newfound friends. The people of Earth accepted him.
Because he doesn't have to hide anymore. He's like,
exactly.
Who he is. 80%
now,
who he is.
He still has so many secret identities around the world, like maintaining a carefully built system that he used to learn all about Earth and Earthlings. So he uses the identities to kind of understand.
That's cool. So he gets different life experiences depending on who he's pretending to be.
And where he is in the world.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
He then forms the Justice League International, and this was a pretty big story in that, like, this is the team led by Maxwell Lord as well in the comic books, and what it does is it kind of works. It's the Justice League, but they work with the United Nations simultaneously, so they're working with them. So it's the Justice League International, and they go on a lot of missions, and John is the leader of this team, where Max Lord kind of owns the team, but John is the leader. And he's the leader because he's the smartest person. He's the calmest person in all situations, and also he's the smartest because he just understands everything.
Yeah, and he's not just like, presumably, he's not just research smart. It's like actual lived experience smart as well.
Yeah, and I think the team, by the way, is at this point Jean, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Fire, Ice, and the one true Green Lantern, Guy Gardner.
Hell yeah. An all-time lineup.
All-time lineup. Now, so the team wasn't, like, fantastic, but that was the point. It was because he was such a good leader that they kind of came out on top, and they created a lot of bonds within the team. And I think that people like that team only because there's not a lot of big hitters, but they do have John. And so if anything actually does happen, they just call him in and he solves it.
But also he can use like them to the best of their abilities as well.
Yeah. Now, Jean's big weakness that we haven't touched on is what, Shaun?
Flames.
He really does not like flames. Fire is his one weakness, and he has a fear of it. And so at one stage he makes a deal with a villainess named Scorch, and he wants her to set fire to him so he can kind of overcome this.
Bad move. John's not going to end well.
There's like a big long story of why he has this fear. It like goes back to like the Guardians of the Universe splitting like the green Martians and the white Martians, and like giving them both the fear of fire and like instilling it in them for like centuries ago and all that shit.
Is it not just like, oh, you can't make fire on Mars, so it really hurts us? Is that not a better...
I mean, I like that option better, but that they wrote the whole thing of the Guardians of the Galaxy or the Universe, so I just mention it.
Fair. No, understandable. Let's never address it.
The problem is when he gets set on fire, he reverts back into one of his ancient creatures that's like inside him, and he becomes a character called Furnace. And Furnace is him, but like on fire. Like,
what?
It's like an evil version of Jean.
Okay. Was this in the first report? I don't remember this.
No, and Furnace increases the strength of his powers by like tenfold. And he can breathe fire. He has access to pyrokinesis. He can phase other beings rather than just himself. Like, he becomes like 100% brain power.
What the fuck?
But he's also not John, so he's like fucking terribly dangerous.
Right, and he's evil. Like, he's not a good guy. He can't be used for good.
He's not good or evil. He's just like, he's uncontrollable.
He's Phoenix Force.
Yeah, exactly. He's cool. Phoenix Force. That's the best way to describe it. The Justice League, however, eventually defeats him by re-enlisting Plastic Man, who is immune to Furnace's psychic powers and has superior shape-changing abilities. It's implied, and this is the most Batman thing of all time, Batman recruited Plastic Man to the Justice League initially as a balance in case the Martian Manhunter ever got out of control in the first place.
No way he thought that far ahead.
I think that was just written in afterwards.
So Batman's the greatest, by the way. He's just the best one.
He knew exactly that was going to happen, and he's so smart. So after destroying Furnace, John is obviously pretty torn up about it. Mm-hmm. But he tells Superman that his aversion to fire has changed. He is now invulnerable to flames, unless they are flames of passion or some other psychic significance. So all of that story that was done was set up so they could write around the fact that Jon is not weak to flames. He's now... he's only weak to them if they're flames of passion.
So, okay. So, if Jon's getting hot and heavy with someone, that could happen. The furnace
No, I think
thing.
it means literal fire of passion.
What does that mean?
It means whatever the writers at the time wanted it to mean, because it's vague enough that you can kind of just fill in wherever you want. But if a house is on fire and there's children inside, now Jon can run in and save them.
But I would argue he shouldn't be able to, and that's more interesting.
I think he's much more interesting when he's terrified of fire. I think that's much better, but they kind of wanted to get rid of that. I don't know why.
Because it works very well on Earth, where that's, like, if you go back to, like, Greek mythology, that's one of the elements that they had.
Yeah. As you mentioned, this is during the whole time of JLA with Grant Morrison, so, like, he was now a massive character in the late 90s, early 2000s, and so they were, like, really pushing him as one of the big seven. And so they kind of wanted to have his fire thing but not have his fire thing and have both, but I kind of wanted to leave it at that, because that's how I see Jon is he should be weak to flames, because when I start getting into his powers you're going to understand why he should be weak to something.
It should be something, and it should be something readily available as well.
Yeah. Like all Martians, Jon has a somewhat cold and stoic demeanour. He's very restricted in terms of emotional expressions. He acts as a voice of reason in the Justice League and is one of the wisest leaders within the team. But he's also he's very kind. No, he's like a very nice man as well. He's got like enormous willpower. And he's got a sense of humour, but it's like a very dry sense of humour. So people just think of him like he's kind of not, like he's boring, but I don't think he is. He can be quite funny using the right way. He's a really good straight man. If you're gonna have him and Flash are always a good duo, like Flash and Batman or something.
That they're very. He's quiet until he has something to say.
Exactly. Now, powers and abilities, Shaun. Here we go. So, he's got the Martian physiology. So, they've been described as the Swiss Army knife of superheroes.
Great
he possesses
stuff.
many of the powers of Superman. And they are just... His powers come from his alien, like, physiology. So, he just has all of this stuff. If he can count on one hand the number of beings in the known universe, he'd be afraid to face an open combat.
That's wild.
Yeah, in the universe.
Yeah, and he's seen a lot of the universe. So that's probably like Darkseid, Doomsday.
Superman has said that he is top of the list in the people that he would least like to fight, and he's the most powerful being on the face of the earth.
Right. Because he is objectively better Superman, but he's not as PR friendly as Superman is.
No, he's absolutely he's Superman, but also magic as well.
Yeah, which is a wild combination.
Well, not magic, but like psychic. Yeah, like psychic Superman.
Yeah. Something like there's an intangible power to him.
It is unknown if he even needs to eat or take in any substance. He just could live forever, I assume, with nothing. Nobody knows either way. Jon Stewart has agreed that Jon is the single most powerful creature in the universe.
Damn.
Yeah.
Lucky he's good, right?
Yeah. So, in terms of his powers and abilities, here we go. Shape-shifting, malleability, elasticity, size alteration. He's got all of the powers to shape-shift in any way that he wants. He can grow to 10,000 feet tall. He can grow to 1 centimetre tall. He can shape-shift into any being, any building, any human, anything you could ever think of.
Cool. So just get rid of Plastic Man and the Atom and like all of these people.
He can turn himself two-dimensional. He can turn himself four-dimensional.
Busted.
He can turn himself into liquid if you want, and then just move around. He has animal mimicry. He has the ability to turn into animals any that he wants. Invisibility. He can just turn invisible. So he can not only turn himself invisible to humans, with increased concentration he can render himself completely invisible across all electromagnetic spectrums.
Oh, so just a stealth master as well then.
Can't see him, no matter what you use. No matter what animal that is looking at it, they will not be able to see. No system on Earth would ever detect him if he wanted.
He doesn't want to be found. He's not being found.
Yeah. He can phase. He can phase through solid matter. No explanation of this power has been given. But
why would it be?
He can just phase through everything. He can just phase through the Earth if he wanted to.
How? What? Why? Why is that a Martian power to be able to phase? Is my like?
Why is it not a Martian power? I think is the question.
You know what? You've one-upped me there.
Invulnerability. He's basically invulnerable to everything. Nothing can harm him in any way, shape, or form. Toxic immunity. His immune system protects him from all toxins and diseases. Superhuman strength. He's one of the strongest beings in all of the known universe. Almost as strong as Superman. So that's good. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, I would say.
While at a resting state, the limits of his strength are unknown. He can lift 100 tons without any effort.
And presumably more, but he's never had to.
With no effort, he can do 100. Super leaping, superhuman stamina. He can just go for whatever time you want without showing signs of fatigue. He never gets tired. Regeneration. He can regenerate things if anything does happen to him, but also nothing will ever happen to him. So that's pretty good. And then of course he's got flight because he can fly around.
Yeah.
He can fly at speeds exceeding the escape velocity of Earth, which is 7 miles per second.
That's fucked. So he can go into space whenever he wants. He has the power of a space shuttle behind him.
Yeah, he can. He's as fast as Superman flying.
God damn. Okay. What else? Surely that's
Turn
it.
to speed, superhuman speed. He's as fast as Superman running, or the Flash running, if you want to do that. Extra sensory input. He's got 9 different senses. Then you also have precognitive abilities.
Tell the future. Why not? Just in case.
Longevity, super hearing, super breath.
Super breath?
Super breath.
Fine.
Yeah. Allowing him, much like Superman, to create hurricane force winds just by blowing.
It's like, you remember Superman was busted for a while and he had every power?
Superman 10,000.
Yeah. That's just Martian Manhunter on a regular day.
Yeah, he's just chilling. Martian vision, the actual nature of this power seems to vary depending on the reports. It's been seen to be a bolt of force directed by the Manhunter's eyes. It also be seen to cause flammable objects to catch fire, so he can just look at things and set them on fire.
Well, as long as it's not a flame of passion, in which case.
It's true. Electromagnetic spectrum vision, telescopic vision, microscopic vision, heat vision, telepathy, obviously. He can create illusions. He can possess people. He can astral project. He can mind control. He can animal control. He can telepathic relay. He can telepathic assault. Thought sensing. He can basically just read everyone's mind if he wanted to.
He's like every X-Man in one.
Yeah, telekinesis, matter absorption. He's able to absorb matter if he wants to.
What the fuck?
How is all his powers?
Aside from that, that's it, is it?
That's it.
Aside from fire, sometimes, how is he ever challenged?
He's not. You're fucked.
How does anything happen on Earth? Can he not just fix it?
Also abilities, I forgot to mention, he has genius level intellect. He's one of the smartest people in all of the known universe.
It would be really funny if they gave him every other power, but he was a fucking dope.
No, he's also a genius.
Oh, okay. That's
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good for him. Again, I don't know how there's still that many threats given how powerful he is.
I'm trying to take.
Are you finding another list of powers?
No, I'm still scrolling. There's more. In terms of abilities, this is just abilities. This is stuff he has.
Just able to do.
Hand-to-hand combat, he's advanced.
Advanced, not master, but advanced.
He's not a master, but like he will. I mean, he's also been training with Wonder Woman and Batman for long enough, so he can just. He's also a superb tactician and leader as well.
Okay. How's his languages? Can he speak many languages?
He can speak every language.
God damn.
So
Jesus
So glad you asked. He's got investigation skills. He's got swordsmanship, weaponry, martial arts, aviation. He can fly if you want.
If I were to hand him a gun, how is he with that?
He's also amazing with a gun, yeah. Weaponry.
God damn.
He's got power replication, so he can learn how to replicate other people's powers if he wants.
He's Taskmaster as well, that's fine.
Yeah, and then I think at the very, very end to just have journalism. He'll write a fucking article for you.
He's got a hunch.
He's got like a little trilby hat.
Oh, yeah, it's got press written in the side of it.
Yeah, he's always searching out leads. His only weaknesses are vulnerability to fire. That's it.
No other weaknesses at all.
It says he's a chocoholic, but I don't think that's a weakness.
I can tell you a few things about that now, Connor.
But yeah, so fire is the only thing that actually hurts him. And he's more vulnerable to fire is the only way you ever in any way slightly stop him.
And even then, it's not the worst thing in the world for him.
No.
In the Grant Morrison run, is that his most powerful, or is that like just regular? Because I assume he's written differently across all of them.
No, I think his most powerful is like the 60s. They like just give him everything.
Right.
They just throw everything at him because he's an alien and he can do anything whenever they want.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then they can just write a new power and just now he's out of that situation.
And I think they kind of slowed down on a lot of the powers, very similar to Superman, where they slowed down on a lot of powers once they got to like the 90s and the 2000s. But like they're still there. They haven't gotten rid of them. He doesn't really use them.
Okay, he's still busted, but I get that I think writers tend to understand him enough that they write him in situations where all of those powers make sense.
Also, yeah, there's absolutely no villain that exists that he would not be able to immediately defeat in maybe 7 seconds.
Yeah, just immediately shut them down. Just absorb their mass into him.
He could just absorb them, then they no longer exist.
Or use a gun. He's pretty good with a gun, I hear.
He could just shoot them. He could turn invisible, so they'll never catch him, just appear behind them, and throw them into space.
Just take off in space.
No, just throw them. Don't just take off, just throw them.
Just throw them. Just yeet them into the upper atmosphere.
He's as powerful as Superman. He can yeet anyone into space.
It's true.
And then still be invisible, catch them, and then throw them back down onto the ground. But he could catch them with his mind.
And then he could like make them see visions of the most terrifying things in the world.
He makes them think that they're like a plane, and then they try to fly, and then they just fall to their death.
Pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
There's one thing, I was reading The Sandman, and he pops up in that for a bit, and he bows down to Dream, which is really cool. Like that power.
Does he?
Yeah, because Dream is like he's the god of dreams for everyone, even the Martians. So Martian Manhunters is like, oh no, you're way more powerful than me. So that's really fun.
No, see, he's nice. He's
a
nice
boy. Man.
Yeah. Like
he's like the kind of lad who'd like you bring him on a school tour if like Superman needed someone to talk with to a bunch of kids. Bring Martian Manhunter along.
He's really good at that, and he could also transform himself into a puppy if needs be. If things start getting hairy in there.
You're not bringing Bruce, like.
No, Bruce is the worst person to break.
Any orphans, lads?
Is there anyone with a pair that I can kill? No.
Fuck, okay.
So that's it for my report on Martian Manhunter.
Very good report, very broken character, Connor. Well done. Would you like me to take us out?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Hero or Zero. We will be back on Monday with an episode of Movie Mondays. Next Friday with an episode of Hero or Zero. Don't forget, we are doing the live show tomorrow, 1:30 Irish time. Your invites are in the post if you're on the Patreon. Or, again, as Connor said, message us up until maybe an hour before the event, and we'll see what we can do. But big thank you to everyone over on Patreon, patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. They help to keep the show going. They help us to make it every single week, and we really, really appreciate everyone over there. If you want to support us, there is also the merch store, heroesforhire.ie/shop. Twitter is at Heroes for Hire Pod. The 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Detective Divilment's discussion group. Instagram is Heroes for Hire podcast. And the best way to ever help out the show is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just a one, please.
And I think that's about it, Connor.
I think so. So I've been Conor Lorraine.
I've been Shaun Meehan.
I shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.